What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Who says we're never on time? Who says that nonsense? Oh, you're never on time. I'm on time. It's in the bottom left-hand corner, 4:45, and the third and possibly final bid for Chelsea's Mason Mount has gone. And actually, before I even start, top right-hand corner, you can see it right there, 2. Count them. I'm not swearing. Two subscribers away from 143,000. Yeah? We can get that straight out the gate. I know we talk about likes and all that kind of stuff. Just 2 away. If you haven't already, subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Here we go. It's not just there just yet. It's gone right down. I'm not even going to look at it. Now. This is an absolute disgrace. It's a cheat. It went down. Well, maybe that's what people's feelings are when it comes to Mason Mount. Because, as I mentioned, a brand new bid has gone in for Mason Mount. It's continued. It's proper. Oh, come on. It's a disgrace. I've tanked the channel. I actually have. The trolls are trolling big time. It's a disgrace. I'm gonna move on. I'm moving on. I shouldn't have even said it. I'm never gonna talk about it ever again. Ever again. Oh, it hurts. Nevertheless, you're here for transfer news. It's not here we go just yet, but we might be getting there. We had heard, myself and KG and myself, spoke about it this morning, didn't we, that a third bid was expected for Mason Mount today from Manchester United. 2 bids have already been rejected by Chelsea. The first bid was, what was the first bid? Was it 40? And then it got to 45 plus 5. Now it's continued and we're getting closer to seemingly the number that Chelsea are looking for, and there is optimism that this one can be done. So let's get straight into the news. It was first reported, hat tip to Matt Law from the Daily Telegraph, who said that Manchester United have submitted their third bid for Mason Mount. It must be said that Chelsea are yet to respond to Man United's latest third bid for Mount, which again is significant in itself because the first 2 bids, they went in, straight away they were rejected. It was a case of Ornstein or whoever reported at the time. I think Ornstein did the second one. I forget who did the first one, but at the time, it was bids gone in, bids rejected. Man United placed a bid early today. It was immediately rejected. That's not the case now. Chelsea are yet to respond, but whilst we're live, anything is certainly possible. Now, David Ornstein has expanded upon this third offer going in, saying that Manchester United have made an improved third offer to Chelsea for midfielder Mason Mount. The new proposal for the 24-year-old England international is worth £50 million plus £5 million in add-ons. So that's £55 million. As I mentioned, the previous Manchester United rejected bid was 45 plus £5 million. Chelsea at the time actually countered with £60 million plus £7 million. Of course, United decided not to accept that negotiation. They've gone back in with a new bid. That's worth an overall package of 55, which is, according to all of the reports that we had seen for a while, that's always the number that United were looking at, 55. It had been rumoured earlier today when we were speaking about it this morning, KG and myself, that the offer was going to be worth in excess of £55 million. That doesn't look like that's the case at this point, does it? It looks like it's going to be a package worth 55. So there still might be wiggle room for all that talk that came from the likes of Simon Stone and others suggesting that this was going to be a third and final bid for Mason Mount. Well, again, we're going to have to wait and see what Chelsea's reaction to it first is. Fabrizio Romano has also weighed in, saying Manchester United's third bid for Mason Mount is £50 million plus £5 million in add-ons, as expected. He also said, told it also includes better payment term conditions than the last one, which also is significant. I mean, if you look at the Declan Rice transfer saga, for instance, Arsenal were the first team to put in a bid for Declan Rice. I think it was £75 million, wasn't it? But they were really unhappy, West Ham, and frankly pretty pissed off with the payment structure involved. It was spread across, I think it was like 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And I think Manchester City's bid that they've put in, by all accounts, I think is like 75 plus 15, and it's spread across 2 years, which again is better payment terms and conditions. Terms T's and C's applies, but better payment terms certainly than the Arsenal bid. And this could be what we're looking at for Mason Mount. United, again, they put in 45 plus 5 initially. Chelsea countered and said, what about 60 plus 7? But now United have gone back and said, well, what about 50 plus 5? But we're not spreading it across so many years. You're getting more of it now than you would previously, which for a club that is having FFP, well, not difficulty just yet, but there's a need for them to shift players because of FFP restrictions. That's very attractive, isn't it? They would look at that and say, wow, okay, that really does help us from an FFP point of view because we get cash money now, again, dependent on what these payment terms and conditions are. I'm speculating there a little bit. He also continues, Fabrizio Romano, saying all parties are very confident to get it done. Mount has been very clear with Chelsea, no new deal. He wants the United move. So that's the latest when it comes to Mason Mount. And we had heard, hadn't we, when it comes to the Mount deal, it was reported quite extensively yesterday that there was a hope that this would get resolved, or needed to get resolved over the next 7 days. And I think the concern of a lot of people was United don't act very quickly. The first bid went in when the transfer window opened. It took another 7 days for the second bid to go in. But thankfully, things have started to speed up a little bit this week, and United have gone in with a bid right now. Again, as of right now, at the time of me being live, there hasn't been a response that's certainly being reported upon anyway. I'll keep checking social media. I'm sure the UV community will help me in the live chat to let me know indeed what is going on, if there's any updates regarding Mason Mount. But certainly, it does feel like, doesn't it, that they are heading in the right direction. There were reports yesterday suggesting that this deal was getting closer. I don't think at this point, and this is why I kind of scoffed this morning a little bit at the idea that United were putting out there that this is the third and final bid. We're definitely walking away if this one's rejected. They're so far into this process at this point that I don't see United walking away. If Chelsea come back and say that's still not good enough, I think United will threaten to walk away, but I don't think they will. I mean, I know there was talks about other targets. They said, we might move on to Moises Caicedo. I really don't see United signing Moises Caicedo. It's well known that he is a Chelsea target. And I know hijacks can happen in football and things can shift and move very quickly, but United aren't a team that shift and move very quickly. And clearly the manager, Erik ten Hag's been pushing for Mason Mount. They've been working on this Mount deal for, how many weeks now has this Mason Mount deal been going on for? Let's actually take a step back. When did we first get linked to Mason Mount? Was that around the time of the FA Cup final? Was it? I think it was around that time. Maybe it was earlier than that. FA Cup final was right at the beginning of this month, beginning of June. So we're entering nearly into the fourth week of this. It's 23rd of June today, end of the month's next Friday. So, I mean, this whole process has taken 3 weeks, maybe about 4 weeks to get it done in totality and completion. United move, so that's for one player. And this player is probably the player we're closest to signing at the moment. The next person that's the closest player we're probably close to signing is Andre Onana. And that still feels quite a way off because that hinges upon the ultimate final decision, what they want to do with David De Gea. And we are going to talk about David De Gea throughout this show as well. So I don't see United moving on to another target. I see them sticking with this one, and I think that ultimately it's going to get done, and you would think fairly quickly. Again, United, it feels like, isn't it? United want to ensure that they don't get taken for mugs here, and they shouldn't as well, because I see a lot of the comments in the chat there, and we'll get your comments up on the screen, that this is a player who's got 1 year left on his contract. Granted, it's different from a Mateo Kovacic situation. I know people have been pointing to that and saying, wow, they're selling Kovacic for, 30 million, something around that number. How come Mason Mount's so much more expensive? He has a year left on his contract as well. Well, of course, he's younger, he's English, he's a homegrown player as well. All of those things go into it. So that in their minds, and I'm not saying this is right, but in their minds, they say that's why we're charging for more. Meanwhile, you've got a player like Kai Havertz, who's got 2 years left on his contract, and they've settled on 65 million, but he's got 2 years left. So you could argue that you go, well, maybe you get that number down a little bit, and that's where Man United have settled upon going, we think 55 million's our ceiling. And again, their only thing that they might be able to, or they feel that they're willing to negotiate on now at this point, having put 3 bids in is that we'll talk about payment terms. We can switch up payment terms a little bit in terms of if we want to front load this deal a little bit more and put more money now, or shift around the add-ons or put a little bit on add-ons. But I don't see, honestly, United overall going to a higher price, shall we say. I mean, maybe because the reports also said, didn't they, that United were really keen not to spend £60 million on Mason Mount with a year left on his contract, because they said they view, and again, this is not totally comparable. They said they viewed the Raheem Sterling deal last year as similar in that he had a year left on his contract and he's an English player, but Raheem Sterling was older than Mason Mount currently is, and he wasn't a homegrown player from Manchester City as well. Like, there are different. Again, it's not totally comparable, but United certainly don't want to spend, they don't think, 60 million, which is why it was funny this morning when they were saying they're going to pay 59, a total package of 59 million, and you just go, because we all know eventually they're going to pay it, aren't they? Let's not be naive here. We all know that's going to be the case. And as those reports suggested, when they said that United are well known for caving in as well, everyone knows they're well known for caving in too. So we'll wait and see how that one plays out too. Super chat here from Don F says, Owen still impressed by the Cameroon/Onana knowledge. You schooled KG. #disgrace. Well, it's not even really. Ahmad, you've done it again. Ahmad, 20. I didn't even have a good button for this. I don't. I mean, 20. Sheikh Ahmad Al Thani is back. I mean, he's not. But big up Ahmad, big support. That's 60 today. 60. And look at what's happened. Top right-hand corner. I saw it, but I didn't want, after what happened at the beginning of the show, I didn't want to say anything because I know even me referencing this now will cause the number to go down, so I didn't want to do it. But we've done it. 143,000 subscribers, 143k, in fact 143k ticked off on the road to 150,000. Anything's possible. Big up the UV community. I mean, this is crazy. We are 12 minutes, nearly 13 minutes into a solo stream, and again, and I know I always say this, and I know it's really repetitive and all that kind of stuff, but the solo streams, I know they can be dry. Look at me. I'm a dry guy. And we've hit 143k, and now we've got 20 new UV members, thanks to the generosity and goodwill of Ahmad. I mean, this is crazy. This is nuts. Ahmad, look at Ahmad with the love heart. I mean, round of applause for the UV community and Ahmad, for everyone. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Amazing stuff. I'm at a loss for words. I am. As M Answer says, a 60 donated by Ahmad today. And do you know what you can do if you did just were fortunate enough? I know a lot of people ask how would the gifted members handed out randomly by YouTube. We have no control over that or anything like that. Let me see if I can see which people got gifted. Here we go. Felix, Tishang, Rishi, Charlie, Caledonian Wolf, Mayowa, Raphael, RMCF, Kenton, Carl H, Adele, Abdullah, Mike, Ghost, Gino, Hassan, Uriel. My pronunciation is superb, Owen. Belail, Trading In, Adopt Me. Well, we can't adopt you, but we can give you a gifted membership from Ahmad. And Balo, there you go. They've all been gifted the memberships. And if you are a new member, if you've been gifted a membership thanks to the generosity of Ahmad, you can go watch the latest episode of UV Raw. It's out right now. It's the episode behind the scenes, basically UV Raw. If you're unfamiliar, it's the behind the scenes look at the day-to-day goings on at United View, not just on match days, just on any random day. It could be in UVHQ, could be on a road trip, could be an away game, a home game, just whatever. They're just sort of random behind the scenes stuff that not a lot of people get to see. And the latest episode that's gone out is basically a look at the day that KG interviewed Anthony at Carrington and everything that happened there. It involves, of course, KG interviewing the Manchester United answer to the right-hand side. In addition to that, you see Josh and KG watching episodes of AFTV and laughing at Ty and Don Robbie. And maybe the best part of the latest episode of UV Raw is that you see actual video footage of how KG, that comedian, and Josh got scammed to buy knockoff televisions. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. Knockoff televisions, they got ripped off. It was captured for your viewing gratification on video. So again, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So you can watch that if you are members of the UV Members Club. And obviously not only just shout out to the people that have just been gifted the memberships too. In addition to that, shout out to the people that have been members for a long time. There have been people now that have been members for 12 months. They've got gifted badges. Oh my God. I haven't said it. I haven't done it for a player yet because Romano hasn't done it for a Man United player. But now when Ahmad's doing it, I mean, I've got to do it because he's done it. He's done it again. Ahmad's done it again. This is getting crazy. This is getting a madness. Oh my goodness me. I wish I had it all going off. I gave that clip to KG. Ahmad. I mean, I am a loss for words, which is not good because I have to just continually say words on streams like this. Oh my goodness me. Another 20 memberships. Incredible. Let's go through the ones who have been gifted once again. Ryan, Emmanuel, Youssef. Oh, I've lost them all. They disappeared. Meran, B1C, Martin, Mark, Dave, Kratos, imagine. Trey with a T. Jim, Red Devil, S. Nicholson, N Triple Z, SGP, Tomelo, Gaspar United, M. Bison, Sims, C. Talentless. And I think that's caught up. This is that's a good one, Nessie. It's an madness. You're right. It absolutely is an madness. Big up Ahmad and big up the UV community. Oh my goodness me. As Joe Isaac says, and just change this to the Ahmad view. I mean, might as well. I mean, we can reveal it now. Ahmad is now majority owner of UV. Hostile takeover. Flex leaves the country and it gets bought out. What do you think? Flex is on the beach. You know, it's got that Ahmad money. Unbelievable. And the conspiracy rumor is that Ahmad is actually Sheikh Jassim. And as I mentioned, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vincent Manstar is going to rip the mask off. It was me. It was me all along. So, incredible. Absolutely incredible. Already. We're only 18 minutes in. Nuts. We've already hit 143k, 40 new members. Incredible. Well, if you are just joining us, because there are nearly 1,200 people watching, and I can't even say be sure to smash the like button. There's so much happened already. So, yes, if you are just joining us, the third bid for Mason Mount from Manchester United has been submitted. Again, it was reported by Matt Law from the Daily Telegraph that Manchester United have submitted their third bid for Mason Mount. Chelsea, as of right now, are yet to respond or review United's latest bid for the England international midfielder. David Ornstein reporting Man United have made an improved third offer to Chelsea for midfielder Mason Mount. The new proposal for the England international, who is 24, is worth £50 million plus £5 million in add-ons, so a £55 million package. The previous Man United rejected bid was 45 plus 5, and Chelsea countered that bid with 60 plus 7, so we're still below that 67 that they were looking for. We've said 55. So despite Chelsea not responding yet, they still could reject it. Fabrizio Romano has said that the third bid, as I mentioned, for £50 million plus £5 million in add-ons has gone in as expected. He's also told it includes better payment terms conditions than the last one. All parties very confident to get it done. Mount very clear with Chelsea. No new deal. He wants the United move. So to be honest, those final two lines there are probably part of the most significant element of this. Even if this third bid gets rejected, for all the bravado saying United will walk away, as Romano says there, all the parties are still very confident to get it done. So that includes United, Chelsea, and Mason Mount, his agents, his intermediaries and representatives as well. So there is a general feeling here, folks, that this one is going to get done. And you would think, given how quickly Chelsea are moving in terms of buying and selling, this could get done in terms of a here we go. I mean, maybe in the next 24, 48 hours, that would be crazy for Manchester United. But certainly over the weekend, I think over the weekend there's a chance, isn't there? There absolutely is a chance because, again, Mason Mount's been very clear, and that was reported too. You have to give credit to Chelsea in this instance. By all accounts, they tried to keep Mason Mount. They offered him a new contract, and he has said since day one, or since he made his mind up certainly, I'm not signing a new deal. Just so you know, I'm not putting pen to paper. This isn't me haggling for a higher wage. This isn't me, just trying to get more money on my current Chelsea contract. I want to go. I've made my mind up. I'm leaving. We saw him when he was walking around Stamford Bridge at the end of the season. His mind was made up. And from Chelsea's point of view, from an FFP perspective, they go, right, player doesn't want to be here. We need to move him on. And also as well, they've said they respect his wishes as a player that's come through the academy and a player that has been successful at Chelsea, winning the Champions League, etc. They respect his wishes. So given the positivity on all ends of this one, you would suspect this one could get done fairly quickly. But again, this is still Manchester United. And as I mentioned, whilst we're live, we'll see if we get any response from any journalists regarding if Chelsea, even if they haven't actually accepted this, if they intend to accept it, if they're thinking about it, reviewing it, going to renegotiate or counter-offer or something like that, like they did last time. Again, that's significant too as well. Let me know your thoughts in the chat, what your thoughts are about this third bid going in, whether or not you think it will be accepted. Actually, I should do a poll about that, shouldn't I? Let's do a poll here. Will Chelsea... I've always got the caps lock on. Like I'm always screaming. Will Chelsea accept United's third bid for Mount? And I'll do brackets so everyone knows, which is 50M plus 5. I'm one of those ones I have to literally say it out as I'm typing. There you go. So the poll is in the chat. The poll is in the chat. The question is, will Chelsea accept United's third bid for Mount, which is 50 million plus £5 million in add-ons too? Minna's in the chat. Big up, Minna. And be sure to subscribe to Minna's channel, by the way. The link should be, I think it is, in the video description below. I know people were saying last time, the link doesn't work. Link does work. It's in the video description below. As is the link to my channel, my wrestling channel. I know that's not for everyone. This weekend, though, we got a big 7 days coming up in the world of pro wrestling, right? We've got a pay-per-view on Sunday. We've got Collision on Saturday, actually, as well. Then, WWE's in the UK next week. We've got SmackDown on Friday at our time. I'm going to be doing a watch-along for that. And then Saturday, there's Money in the Bank. I'm going to be doing a watch-along for that, so you can join me for that. But Minna says, Onana and Mount for 100 million isn't bad business. Talking about possibly a £50 million upfront price for Mason Mount. And then Onana, there's kind of been a bit of back and forth about how much he would cost. Some saying 50 million euros, some saying 60 million euros, but it's around 100 million for the pair of them. Plus then you're talking about 40, 50 million to buy a striker. As I've said before, for me, my priority list as transfer targets this summer is striker, goalkeeper, midfielder. Now, in typical United terms and typical United way, they might do it backwards in terms of they sign a midfielder first, a goalkeeper next, and then they have to finish on a striker. As I've said before, I cannot go into next season without a striker. We have to get one. The issue is that it's a goalkeepers market, i.e. there's plenty of goalkeepers, good goalkeepers available. Onana, Costa, Raya, they're available for a good price. Go and get them. I'm not sure this year is a strikers market in that Harry Kane seemingly not available. Victor Osimhen seemingly not available. Now, obviously, these players are available for the right price, but the price is outside of Manchester United's reach at the moment. So those players not available. Then we get into territory of, okay, Rasmus Højlund. We thought he was going to cost 40 million euros. We're being quoted 80 million pounds for him at the moment. So how that one's going to play out, I don't know. You could argue they're just shooting really high and eventually they'll get a bit lower to around 60, something like that. Gonzalo Ramos, again, it was reported this morning, Benfica would look for a similar number that they got for Darwin Núñez last season. That was £85 million. So, again, we're looking at 80 million quid, something around that. Then we get in a little bit lower. Then we start talking about Ollie Watkins. We were being linked to him too. So, The striker market's more difficult. Maybe that's why United want to get these first two bits of business out the way first so they can just fully focus on that. But we cannot go into the next Premier League season with no striker. We'd be better off if we go in with this new goalkeeper and Mason Mount. Our team is better. Our starting team is better. But the biggest issue for us last season, a goalkeeper, realistically, it became more of an issue as the season went on, but it wasn't our biggest issue. Our midfield, it was a problem at times in that it tired out and we didn't have enough cover there, quality cover, and could do what Ten Hag wanted for us, but that wasn't the biggest issue. The biggest issue was the striking position. We couldn't score enough goals, so we need a striker. That's what we need. We need to get in that striker. All Elite with the Super Chat says, Owen, for the love of biscuits, who doesn't love biscuits as well? Why are we bidding £50 million for Mount when we don't have a centre forward or a goalkeeper? Make it make sense to me, please. Glory, glory UV, glory, glory Man United. Well, just like I said, All Elite, because United do things backwards. They have a priority list and they go and instead from going the top down, they go from the bottom up. That's where they go for. That's how they do their priority. It's very strange. But I do think we'll get a striker this summer because there's just no way we can't. There is no way we can't. And I don't know if it's going to be necessarily the striker that we hope for, that we're looking for. Sophia says, Thuram another shout. He was going to go to PSG, wasn't he, I think, and then that collapsed and fell through. So, those ones certainly are possible too. So again, we'll see, but we need a striker. Absolutely need a striker. In terms of the poll in the chat at the moment, it's just been up for nearly 5 minutes. There is 387 votes in the poll. Let's see if, and again, that's going to get to 500 soon. And there's actually about 307 likes. Not bad. I like the ratio. The question was, will Chelsea accept United's third bid for Mount? £50 million plus £5 million. And the response is unanimous, as it tends to be most of the time here on the in the UV community. 76% of you say, yes, Chelsea will accept this third bid. And 23% of you say, no, they won't accept it. Ooh, that is interesting, actually, as well. Will Chelsea accept this bid? I think they might counter, and United will accept that counter. Remember, again, it was worth pointing out this morning that they said United don't want to spend 60, but they would be willing to spend in excess of 59. So I think Chelsea might say, let's make those add-ons 9 million, or add a bit more. Let's add a little bit more onto this, and then United go, okay, do that. So I don't know if Chelsea will necessarily accept this offer, but this technically might be the final offer, if that makes sense. They negotiate from this one, maybe. I don't know. I think they'll counter one more time. I don't think we'll get him for a £55 million package. I think it'll be closer to 60. I'm going to say like 59 or something like that. And then United walk away going, see, we didn't spend 60. Haha. And you go, you basically did. Really, so it doesn't really count, but whatever helps you sleep at night. Super chat here, I believe, from Ahmad. Big up Ahmad, man. The announcement we've all been waiting for will most likely be next week, at most first week of July. Heard it here first. Ahmad, man. Thing is, with the way that Ahmad's been moving today, yeah, I don't. Who am I to say that that's not true? Yeah. Who am I to say that's not true? I don't think it'll be next week, because obviously those financials are reported next week. It's the end of the of a financial accounting period for United, June 30th. So maybe beginning of July, something like that. Maybe that's the direction that we're going in. It's gone really quiet with the takeover stuff this week, hasn't it? So we'll have to wait and see when it comes to that. But yes, that's the latest when it comes to Mason Mount. We are going to talk goalkeepers in just a second. Let's see actually where we are in terms of likes at the moment. We've got nearly 1,500 people watching, and we've got 391 likes. See if we can get it to 500, because this has been already a wild show, absolutely wild show. So big up everyone that's tuning in. Big up the UV community, ever growing. Right, let's talk David De Gea and let's talk possibly a move to Saudi Arabia. Now, this is quite interesting because it's not the first time we've heard this about David De Gea. This is coming from a bit of a wider report just about the goalkeeping situation at United at the moment as we head into really the last 7 days. One would think of David De Gea being under contract as a Manchester United player. So Nizar Kinsella, who does Chelsea and Fulham and England for the Evening Standard, is saying that clubs in Saudi Arabia are willing to sign David De Gea and offer him a substantial pay rise. Now, that is really significant that possibly they could be willing to offer him a substantial pay rise. You say, why? Why, Owen, is it significant that they're willing to offer him a pay rise? Because there had been those reports, hadn't there, suggesting that David De Gea, whilst maybe he had previously accepted that he was going to have his salary reduced and accepted that he was going to reduce his salary, there were other reports just earlier this week, late last week, suggesting that actually he might not want to reduce his salary as much as previously reported. Now, if that is the case, we all said, and this has been a big discussion point with David De Gea in general, hasn't it, all through this season, about, well, where else would he go? Where else would he go that he would get the wage that he's currently on? Of course, at the moment, he's currently on £375,000 a week. He's the highest paid goalkeeper in the Premier League, highest paid goalkeeper in the world, I would think. I don't think there's a goalkeeper on a higher wage than him, unless I'm mistaken. He's one of the highest paid players in general in the Premier League as well. And as we've all said constantly, well, where else would you get this kind of contract offer? Now, once the Saudi option came on the table, everyone went, there. That's where you could get 375k a week, probably even more. And that's largely been the Saudi strategy, hasn't it? Not for every person they've attempted or are going to sign this summer, but part of the strategy has been, let's look at big name players who are approaching the final days and months of their contract, and whilst they could be in negotiations with their current club, let's get in front of them across a table and just blow them away. Let's give them an offer that they just are like, I cannot refuse that. I just cannot refuse. In addition to other factors as well, as I mentioned, for the likes of Karim Benzema and others, and some of the Chelsea players that are going over there as well, Ziyech, Koulibaly, Mendy, N'Golo Kante as well. Obviously, religion plays a big part in that as well. I mean, it's a no-brainer. They're paying me loads of money and I can be really close to sort of my religious home. It's a no-brainer to them. So it's not just about the money, it must be said as well. I think that's really important. But for David De Gea, he might think, because there had been those suggestions that the only place he would want to go if he wasn't in Manchester was back to Spain. That isn't feasible right now. There's nowhere for nowhere in Spain for him to go. But if an offer was put on the table for David De Gea and it said, not only are we willing to, your current wage, you're on 375k, that same 375k that United are looking to reduce you on at the moment, we're willing to significantly improve upon it, 500k a week or something ridiculous. That's very tough to say no, particularly at a time in which your future still hasn't been guaranteed, because it's obvious, as I've said a couple of times now, it's very clear what the perception of David De Gea is from the view of Erik ten Hag, isn't it? Erik ten Hag wants to go in another direction. And I think the only reason we're still having this David De Gea discussion is budgetary. I think if budget wasn't a concern, if FFP wasn't a worry, then I think the final call on David De Gea would have probably been made actually quite a while ago. Ten Hag's made his mind up, as they've kept saying. It's up to Ten Hag. It's up to Ten Hag to sign off on this contract, and he hasn't done it. He still hasn't done it over and over and over and over and over again. And now we're talking to other goalkeepers too. I mean, Onana's agent was in Manchester last night talking to United. If I'm David De Gea, I go, well, the writing's on the wall, because I guess agreed to terms, even though some people say I didn't, but I agreed to terms, according to reports, ages ago, and still right now, as of 7 days' time, I'm not going to be officially a United player because I'll be out of contract. So it's very obvious what the manager wants to do and what the club wants to do. So during this time of uncertainty for him, if I did get an offer from the Saudi PIF, whatever team it is, there's 4 that they control now, that was an astronomical amount of money, I would say, That's very hard to say no. Absolutely hard to say no. In addition to, it's not as if he's going to work his way back into the international setup. He's not retired, but the managers don't want to pick him there. I know Enrique's going to PSG, but it looks like he's not having much more luck with the current Spain setup anyway too. So, I just don't. I don't think. I think that is going to be a difficult option for him to turn down. And as I said, I know they keep saying about Onana, once a final decision is made on David De Gea, in my opinion, I think the decision, certainly in the mind of Erik ten Hag, was made a while ago. And whilst, of course, he's publicly backed David De Gea all season, because that's what you do as a manager. You can call him a liar, but that's what managers do in front of the press. They back their players. They might say something different to them face to face, but you've got games to win and points to pick up and trophies to win too. So you back particularly the Manchester United media as well. The Manchester United media is vicious. And if they sense or sniff any hint of weakness or any kind of, again, drop of a story to be told or something salacious that they can start to feast on, they'll go for it. They'll absolutely go for it like piranhas. So when Erik ten Hag's asked in press conferences about David De Gea or in interviews about David De Gea, yeah, I want him to stay. Of course I do. I want him to stay. And he wants to stay too. But at the end of the day, I think he might have made his mind up a while ago. And maybe he was on the fence for a little bit, and then the Sevilla game happened, the West Ham game happened, the FA Cup final game happened, and then after that, with, again, it being a goalkeeper's market, I think timing's really important in football as well. Timing is critical. With this is they started to look around. They said, actually, again, look at the market. I said earlier on it wasn't a striker's market, but it's not. But it is a goalkeeping market. It's a goalkeeper's market. Goalkeeper is a specialty. It's a specialist position. And particularly nowadays, with goalkeepers being this proficient with the ball at their feet, we've got a rare window where there's 3 real proficient goalkeepers of having the ball at their feet available for a decent price. Factor in David De Gea's coming to the end of his contract, and all signs point to an exit and United moving on. That's kind of what it feels like, doesn't it? So it'll be interesting to see if indeed David De Gea does move to Saudi Arabia, to one of the Saudi teams. Frankly, where else is he gonna go? Actually, that's a point too. Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. the Comedian, you're live on United View.
Yeah, I'm calling in. I just thought it was a good thing to do, considering, I've been a part of the process for this last couple of days.
Yeah.
Can we not say well done Man United for putting this kind of deal in and not getting their pants pulled down?
Well, it must be said it's not completed yet. This is just the third bid. Chelsea haven't responded as of right now. But, United moving quicker. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, United moving quicker, and United have held. They're staying kind of strong, right? And it seems, by the sounds of things, it seems like this is a deal that will be accepted, just because Mason Mount is pushed. He's stressed to his club that this is what he wants. This is how he sees his future. So I think that's really, positive.
When do you think then it's going to get done? Do you think this is something that could get done over the next 24, 48 hours, something like that?
Yeah, I believe so. And I think it'll be good. Like Man United trying to move fast in the window, because obviously you saw what Newcastle's been able to pull off with a Tonali deal. That's impressive. But then again, names is one thing, but actually turning up and doing in the league is another thing. So, you know what I mean? We're going to, all systems go. Hopefully this guy gets it going, and hopefully Mason Mount really works for us. I think Chelsea, they know KG.
I hate to interrupt, but it's all going off. It's all going off.
What's going on? What's going on?
Ahmad this morning, he gifted 40 memberships. Not only is he gifted 40, he's gifted 60 now. Another 20.
Ahmad Altan's.
I mean, honestly, the conspiracy theory that he's actually Altan's undercover, that might be real.
It's Ahmad Altan's. I'm telling you, this is what? Wow. Well, you know what? Again,
do we need to build like an on-screen statue or something like that?
Well, I think so. I think something's got to be done, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, wait, what?
I mean, Also, some breaking news. Ahmad's now the majority shareholder of UV.
Again, announce Ahmad. No, but this is again like just quickly, just back onto this Man United thing though. Good to see us operating like this. Good to see us trying to do something. It just goes to show that thing about not being able to spend money. And the Glazers, like that was a lie, basically. That article a few days ago that we were talking about.
Oh yeah, with the Glazers aren't going to sanction. Well, look, again, this one isn't done. It must be said just yet. But as Fabrizio Romano said, you think it would feel like this one's going to get done soon because you've got all three parties here very confident and positive that it is going to get done, which is positive. How do you feel though? Because you were doing this morning about, if Chelsea reject the bid, or what do you want Chelsea to do? That was your question, wasn't it? What do you want Chelsea to do?
Yeah, what do you want Chelsea to do?
How do you feel?
Honestly, now I'm just like, I'm trying to be positive about this thing again. I never know about these players. Like, there's players that I thought would be great looking at their comps and stuff, and they haven't been great. So I'm just going to, again, sit back and choose to be surprised by a good performance. I hope he comes in and I hope he smashes it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's all I can do, is just because like we've been excited about signing after signing. Even Pogba, how much excitement do we have about that? Pogba, we thought was getting everything and we didn't get it.
Yeah.
So now it's like, I just hope that this is going to be another signing that comes in and is good for us. Like, Eriksen's been good, but Eriksen runs out of energy and stuff. So now, apparently, he'll be, like, playing in Eriksen's position, apparently, like, according to some Man United fans. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see if he...
Do you have concerns? Because I was mentioning this earlier, that... So we talked about the priority list, didn't we? In terms of this transfer window, and for me, it went striker at the top. For me, goalkeeper second, and then a midfielder third. Does it worry you a little bit that maybe the first signing is the third priority, the second signing looks like it's going to be the second priority, and we're still waiting for that striker? Or is it a case of, actually, let's get those two lesser priorities out the way, and then the rest of the window's pure focus is get the striker?
Well, I think it's in availability and what's going on with Chelsea. I think we realise that Chelsea have some FFP issues and they need to get it solved before, what's it, next week or something like that?
Yeah.
So then going all out and trying to do a deal that everyone's interested in makes a lot of sense. I still feel that I would like the striker to be the next thing that we're trying to sort out. But then, again, it's situations with, like, in terms of our goalkeeping issues, we actually need a goalkeeper now. Yeah. Like, there's not a registered one, so it's it's a parent. Thank you. Oh wow, there's a traffic warden. I'm illegally parked.
You're not admitting to illegally parking, KG, when there's nearly 1,600 people watching you.
Well, sometimes you gotta take risks, innit? The woman just told us, she's like, yeah, traffic warden. Where is he? Big. Oh wow. Okay, he's really just giving people tickets. I don't know. I've got to try and talk to this guy. Excuse me, mate. I got to pick up my daughter. There's nowhere to park. Have I got 2 minutes? Just there at the school. And that's why you're the greatest. Come on. All right, cool. Let me. Hello.
Yeah, I mean, we're all waiting for what is going on with KG.
You got to talk to the traffic. Sometimes you got to chance it. Do you know what I mean? That one there, that was brilliant. Look at the negotiation skills.
Yeah.
They should let me in the room.
Well, again, and also as well, that what is actually really interesting is you do literally negotiate as your pretend negotiator did. You just go, 2 minutes, can we? I mean... that's great business. Yeah.
Yeah, again, listen, they need to let me in. I think I could sort out the Altani thing. I think I could really sort out a lot at this club.
Winter says, can I get 2 minutes plus free in add-ons?
In add-ons. No, but this is good. Just say again, it's been a long old week. The third bid's gone in. We're likely to hear something back from Chelsea saying, you know what, this is it. Because even that thing about us saying that we'll walk away, there's a chance, there's a risk of that happening, right? I like that.
We're not walking away there, are we?
Are you with me?
We're not walking away.
No, but they just don't. They don't want us to, because they've got a level of desperation. I know. I spoke to him. I was like, "Please, mate." All right, cool. I'm picking up my daughter from drama school, so I think I've got to go now.
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in, Mr. The Comedian.
Thanks a lot. Big up everyone in the chat. Hopefully you have a great weekend, and hopefully we're back with confirmed signing.
Yes, hopefully we're back with very soon. Okay. Right. Speak to you in a bit.
See you later. Bye.
KG, man. For all people that, because people ask me this all the time, they're like, "Is KG really like that?" There is no difference. KG doesn't play out for camera. That is KG, the comedian. Okay, that is who he is, just in life. That's what he's like. He is one of a kind. Seriously. Super chats. Ahmad says, I have OCD. I had to make it an even 100 for the day. Ahmad's gifted out 100 memberships today. 100. The generosity and the support is off the charts. Big up Ahmad, man. We need to get some kind of Josh, if you're watching this, hopefully you are, get an Ahmad emoji. I'm not sure what it is. Ahmad can say in the chat what he wants the emoji to be, but there needs to be an Ahmad emoji. It's incredible. Caleb says, if they reject, we hijack Caicedo. Like I said earlier on, I don't see us getting involved or anything like that. I think Chelsea probably, again, have done their due diligence when it comes to that too. In terms of the poll, it's been up for 25 minutes, so we'll close it because we've had over 1,000 votes. The question was, will Chelsea accept United's third bid for Mason Mount? That being the £50 million plus £5 million in add-ons. And 77% of you say yes. So the majority do think that this bid indeed will get accepted and not rejected by Chelsea. SK says, so when KG goes up for a role, I swear he just plays himself. What a guy. Well, no, that's not true, actually. He's a good actor, a very good actor. And I can say that from first-hand experience, having been in, do you remember those sketches? Oh, my goodness me. Oh my goodness. He was a far superior actor. And he was producer and director for those sketches too. He is a heck of a talent. Amanor says, Owen, can I buy shares in the United View? I mean, there are no shares, but your support, that's all that matters. Here, that's what matters. And you don't even have to send super chats or anything like that. Just by watching, liking, subscribing, it's more than enough as well. Where was I? Oh, yes, I was going to talk about Andre Onana, about the talks continuing between Manchester United and his representatives as this deal looks, I'd say more likely, but certainly it's gathering some momentum, isn't it? So again, coming from that same report from the Evening Standard, Andre Onana has met with Manchester United officials over the potential move worth around £50 million. He is ready to move to the Premier League, and Inter won't stand in his way should they receive a substantial fee. Chelsea were considered front runners for the Manchester United target Andre Onana, but have called interest due to Mauricio Pochettino's willingness to work with Kepa Arrizabalaga as his number one option. Again, this then goes into David De Gea possibly leaving as well. Given the noises that we're hearing over the last 24 hours with Onana's representatives being in Manchester, that fee as well, which I think most people would say for a player that actually went to Inter Milan a year ago, because this is what Inter will probably think too. They signed Onana on a free contract, on a free transfer. So they've got 50 million quid of pure profit there. In addition to that, I mean, how many years does he have left on his contract? What contract did he sign? I can't imagine it was a. So he's got a contract until 2027, right? 2027. So he's got 4 years left on his contract. Signing a goalkeeper that's only been at the club 1 year, £50 million, has got 4 years left on his contract. That ain't bad. That is not bad at all going. I know Inter have their own financial issues and FFP issues, which I think is why they're open to accepting an offer for Andre Onana too. So given that, I think that's really good business. Really strong business. 50 million, goalkeeper that's played in the Champions League final. And clearly the manager knows him as well, which, as I said this morning, is a real key thing too. We have seen if Erik ten Hag has first-hand experience with a player he is all in on them. It was the same with, he's the guy that forced and pushed Manchester United into, let's face it, overspending to get Anthony last summer, because he was like, I know him, I believe in him, I trust him, I've worked with him before, go get him. And United eventually did what Ten Hag asked them to. Same with Lisandro Martinez. The first offer was there from Arsenal, and by all accounts, Martinez actually called up Ten Hag and said, I've got an offer from Arsenal, I'll go there, but if you want me to come to United, I'll come to United. And Ten Hag said to the United officials, make sure this transfer happens, and eventually it did. They put a bid in, and they had to put in a couple, but they got there in the end. And I don't think it'll be any different with Andre Onana too. Again, he knows him. He knows his capabilities, he knows his qualities, and he is the perfect person to compare them and contrast them with David De Gea, because he's worked with De Gea now for a year, and he knows what De Gea is really good at, and he knows what De Gea is not really good at. And he'd compared that to Andre Onana and said, in terms of where I want this team to go and the current proximity of De Gea's contract coming to a close. And Onana, let's face it, is not going to come in and be on 375k a week. He's just not. So that his point of view might be, well, we can reduce the wage bill for that as well. And it just feels like there's a lot of momentum and there's a lot of things happening with that one. I know that some people are saying don't rule out Diogo Costa just yet, because Porto, they're another club that, by all accounts, I saw something saying that they needed to raise, was it 50 million euros or 50 million quid or something like that over the course of the next few weeks. So, maybe, but the difference is, whilst Costa is younger and might be a better long-term option, in Ten Hag's mind, he'll go, well, I know Onana better. I've worked with him in the past, and Ten Hag, likes, people that he knows and people that he can trust and people that he's worked with previously. So I think that certainly as the days go on, Onana does feel more and more likely, doesn't it? Particularly now with us seemingly having a pretty much a free run at signing him, because Chelsea pulled out. If Chelsea was still in that race, I'd worry, because I would say Chelsea are better and quicker at doing deals than us. We have seen them hijack many transfers. So that would also be, don't rule out Chelsea when it comes to that too, because Chelsea have tried and attempted and at times successfully hijacked several transfers over the last 12 months. And you wouldn't put it past them just for United to do all the groundwork for that and then them to sweep in at the last minute and be like, we're going to sign Onana. But again, given Ten Hag's relationship with the player, you would think maybe that it looks pretty positive for there. They keep saying, don't they, that until they make a final decision on David De Gea, they're going to pursue it. I would say, well, why are you doing all the groundwork now if you're unsure of which direction this is going to go in? I think everyone's fairly sure and fairly certain, really, which direction this is going in, and that direction is David De Gea leaving and Andre Onana coming in. I think that's the most likely situation there. Let's get to another super chat, and then we'll just briefly talk about another goalkeeper, then we can wrap things up. Or am I completely caught up? I might be completely caught up with the super chats. I think I am. If I've missed it, let me know as well. We're currently on over 1,500 people watching. We're currently at 547 likes. We can get to 600 certainly, but I'm remiss to ask anything from you this evening. We've hit 143k. We've got 60 new members. This is crazy what's going on in the UV community today. Finally, this was a bit of a strange story when it comes to goalkeepers too. So this came out from quite a few different outlets, actually, suggesting that Manchester United have been linked with goalkeeper Jordi Petrovic. He is valued at £24 million. He would only move to become a number one, with a lot of interest from European rivals. This is actually a goalkeeper, Jordi Petrovic, that plays in the MLS. He plays for New England Revolution. He's been considered by, reportedly, a number of Champions League level clubs, with Man United regularly scouting him. The other clubs considering him, according to the likes of The Athletic, are Benfica, Porto, Villarreal, just a few of the clubs that have made their interest known as well, though no official offers have been made at this stage. He has a contract until 2025. New England Revolution would seek a decent fee for him. He would not be considered a first choice arrival at Manchester United, but could add competition. To me, and it also says, Manchester Evening News say that it's understood he's happy in the States but open to taking an opportunity at a top club if the project and pathway are right. That seems to me like a goalkeeper that United might sign if David De Gea were to stay. So a goalkeeper where they think, okay, he's a bit younger, he's fairly cheap, he can provide De Gea with some competition, and we can go from there. But it just kind of feels a bit out of left field, doesn't it? As well, and I don't. For me at the moment, all of the noises are about Andre Onana, aren't they? And it just feels like, again, that's going to be the direction that United are going in. Also, a bit of breaking news going on in the last few minutes. This is coming from Samuel Luckhurst of the Manchester Evening News. So very significant that is coming from this outlet, this journalist in particular. And that is that Manchester United are considering handing Alejandro Garnacho the number 7 shirt. That's pretty significant given the weight of that shirt, given the icons of Manchester United that have worn that throughout the years, whether it is, of course, George Best, David Beckham, Brian Robson, etc., 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 Dennis Law. That to me seems too early. I would feel like that's too early at this point. I think unanimously most people could say if he continued this going on the trajectory that he's going in and the season that he had last season, then number 7 in a couple of seasons would be right for him. As of right now, number 7 I would think seems way too early for him. And let's rest it for a year. And this is another one where it's important to know the history of the club, isn't it? That, yes, because look, let's face it, if Alejandro Garnacho was given the number 7 shirt, in terms of shirts being sold and all that kind of stuff, people would buy it and people like, see, Garnacho, star boy, number 7, amazing. But that is a heavy shirt. And I know that that's probably a shirt he wants. He idolizes Cristiano Ronaldo, but let's be smart with this. Let's not put too much pressure on the player. We talk so much about not overplaying players, not overhyping players. Even at this point, Alejandro Garnacho, for me, I think, again, his potential, I think the sky really is the limit with him. And I have no doubt that, again, if he has the right head on his shoulders and the right people around him, he can be a huge success and a huge talent at Manchester United. But this is still a kid that Erik ten Hag's remiss to start. Do you give the number 7 to a kid that at the moment you're going, I'm not sure he's ready to start games, he's better to come on as an impact player? Not yet. Number 7 is a different thing at Manchester United. It's a different kind of pressure. It's a different kind of expectation. That is a heavy shirt to wear. And not to say that he can't carry it, but he shouldn't be burdened with it just yet. Because that shirt can become a burden if it's placed on the wrong person or the wrong time. That's probably the better thing to say, the wrong time. But I think eventually he'll get there. But right now, to me, I would say that's a lot of pressure to put on him. He's just signed a new contract. That's pressure. The expectations of him are higher. Ten Hag said that himself. And maybe that's a bit too much too soon. And people might say, well, who'd you give it to? You don't have to give it to someone at the moment. It's a special shirt at United. You can let it rest. You can let it rest for 12 months and go, maybe we just sort of hold off for a little bit. I think that might be the right thing to do. But we'll wait and see what happens with that, and we'll wait and see if we get any more information when it comes to Alejandro Garnacho possibly getting that number 7 shirt. Super chat from SK says, Garnacho 7 is far too early. I take this as an attempted good press for a crap transfer window and sale process. Well, if that was the attempt, I don't think it would be a good one, because I think unanimously most people would probably say it's a bit too early for him at the moment. But again, we'll wait and see. It could just be one of these sort of speculatory rumours at this stage. But there you go, guys. Appreciate you all tuning in for this impromptu afternoon, evening stream, wherever you are in the world, talking about the 3rd bid going in for Mason Mount. Again, if we get any more information about if the bid's been accepted, rejected, or anything like that, we'll let you know. If we get a here we go, of course, we'll go live, obviously, and discuss that. But if not, we'll be back tomorrow with another transfer update, giving you the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, hopefully takeover news, and all of the above as well. Big up Vicky with the super chat says, Owen, you don't know what he has planned for over the pre-season. They never got to do set plays over the pre-season, playing every 3 days. What, referring to Garnacho or referring to Ten Hag? I'm not sure who he is. But yes, appreciate the super chat as always. Anyway, guys, I'm out of it. Have a great Friday afternoon, evening, and I'll speak for you again very, very soon. Peace.